Hi, this is John Russell, and in the next 7 minutes, I'm going to basically spit in the face of all the thieves, crooks, and liars who have been sucking cash out of your pocket and forcing you to pay unfair rates on power for you and your family. Show you the secret real reason your electric bill is criminally high, even though you've been doing everything you possibly can to conserve, and right in the middle of recession when times couldn't be tighter and you deserve a break. And we'll teach you how you can slash your electric bill by 75% or more this month, while keeping your home warm, cozy, and comfortable, leaving the thermostat exactly where you want it without worrying or giving it a second thought, protecting your family and making your home 100% immune to power outages, brownouts, blackouts, storms, or domestic emergencies. And without ever having to act like a power Nazi, constantly yelling at your kids to shut the lights or turn off the TV again. In fact, if you simply do what I say in this short video and put it into action like over 102,000 hardworking Americans have before you, you'll run out to the mailbox like a happy puppy every time the power bill comes, ready to cash the check the electric company is forced to send you each and every month. Honestly, I can't wait for you to experience what it's like to slowly tear open that bill and feel this goofy grin spread across your face because for the first time ever, instead of paying through the nose, cutting corners, and sacrificing just for you and your family to keep the lights on, instead of paying the electric company 1 red cent, you get a check for $10, $50, or more and get to use as much power as you want. Who the heck am I to make such a huge promise? Like I said, my name is John Russell. I'm a 47-year-old electrician. I live in Duluth, Minnesota with my beautiful wife and 2 gorgeous little girls. And over the last 4 years, I've helped over 102,000 hard-working regular Americans just like you to escape the government electricity addiction and learn how to create your own power faster, cheaper, and easier than you ever thought possible, even if you're not very handy and haven't touched a screwdriver since high school shop class. And how easy it is to create your own power in your very backyard just by following a few easy steps. I'm going to reveal to you exactly how to escape the government power trap in just a minute. But before I do, I hope you won't mind if I tell you why I care so deeply about helping you get off the grid and protect your family the way the government and the power company won't. If you're a parent, or even if you just have a heart, I'm sure you can imagine how horrible I felt, how ashamed I felt when my beautiful little girl, Abby, came running up to me with her teddy bear in her arms and blanket wrapped around her, and with lips that were almost blue, whimpered, "Daddy, I'm cold." This was 6 years ago, when Abby was just 3. If you've ever been to Minnesota, you know that it gets cold in the winter. 20 below is normal, and even on a good day, just walking outside can feel like getting slapped in the face. This one winter in 2004, the snow dumped on us over 4 feet in just a night, and just like every winter, the power lines practically snapped like twigs. I knew from experience that it would be hours or days before the government could get the juice flowing again. I fired up the generator and the wood stove, tried not to think of the crushing cost of gas and the hundreds that I was going to have to spend just to keep us warm for the night. And while it was okay for a while, around midnight, the generator just choked and sputtered and died. The whole house got dark, and all we could hear was the wind whipping against the side of the house, and all we could feel was the cold. Me and Molly and our girls cuddled for warmth by the stove, and all night I could feel little Abby under the blanket with me, shivering and shaking, and whispering in my ear, "Daddy, make it warm again." And I felt mad at the government, mad at the snow, but most of all mad at myself for putting my little girl in a position where she had to suffer like this. I was her dad. I was supposed to protect her, and I swore right then and there that I would never let my little girl suffer again. When the power finally came back on, it took almost 2 days this time. I got on the computer and tried to figure out what to do. Relying on the electric company just wasn't an option. I'd been watching my power bills move upwards like they were climbing the side of Everest for years. I felt like I was giving blood every time I paid the bill, and knew, with shortening supplies of oil and nuclear disasters, the price of electricity was going to go up, not down. Besides, even if the price of power went down, which I knew wasn't going to happen, I'd still be dependent on the power company to keep me and my family safe and warm. If they couldn't keep the power on during a simple snowstorm, what chance did we have if things actually got bad? I thought about buying a bigger, newer generator, but with gas at over $3 a gallon, that was as good as committing financial suicide. Nope, there was really only one option. If I wanted to save money and protect my family, I'd need to use everything I knew to create my own power and get 100% off the grid. That way, it wouldn't matter if the power went out for everyone else. It wouldn't matter if the generator ran out of gas. It wouldn't matter if the cost of electricity doubled or tripled for everyone else. It wouldn't matter if the whole world was suffering blackouts and brownouts, if we suddenly ran out of coal or oil, or if something else terrible happened in a nuclear reactor. If I could create my own power, my little girls would always be safe and warm and protected, no matter what. If I could create my own power, my home would be a little island of light, no matter how dark it got anywhere else. As soon as the power was back up, I got to work like a man possessed. The first thing I did was start looking for solar panels. Like I said before, I'm an electrician by trade. Molly likes to say I've got electricity in my veins from all the years spent wiring up houses and commercial buildings, and I knew full well that lighting and heating a 4-bedroom house like mine with solar power shouldn't just be doable, it should be downright easy. All I'd need to do is set up some simple solar panels and batteries, and even in the dark Minnesota winters, we'd have plenty of power to keep the lights and the heat on, no matter what happened anywhere else. There was only one problem. When I went to the store and looked at the price of commercial solar panels, I felt like I'd been mugged. Honestly, it pissed me off. Every store I went to, every retailer I found online was selling solar kits that, to a regular guy like me, seemed abusively expensive. I knew from all my work as an electrician that the components of a high-quality, high-efficiency solar panel that could draw all the power you need, even on a cloudy day, were downright cheap. But all the solar kits I found in stores and online were marked up like crazy by greedy corporations that were just trying to rip me off. And even the most affordable setup was thousands of dollars, which Molly and I just didn't have. And as I kept searching online, I found all these messages from people just like you and me. Regular, hard-working folks who were sick of being dependent on the incompetent government for their electricity, who wanted to get control of their electricity, stop contributing to our country's dependence on foreign oil, and stop paying out the nose just to keep the air conditioning running in the summer or to watch the ball game on TV, and who were too smart to get ripped off by these ridiculously overpriced kits. So I did what my dad taught me to do years ago. I put on my thinking cap and I decided to solve the problem. The very next weekend, I went to the store and bought all the stuff I knew I'd need to create the kind of high-efficiency solar panels I wanted for my home. And even though the kits were priced at $600 or more, I managed to get everything I needed for just $92.17. And here's a picture of me working in my garage that weekend. It only took about a day of work, though I actually had a pretty good time, but using a little bit of elbow grease and some pretty basic electric know-how, I was able to put my whole home power plant, including solar panels, batteries, and even a miniature wind turbine, a lot easier to build than you think, for just $197.15, including tax. Less than 1/8 the cost the big companies were asking for panels and batteries that just weren't as good. But that was just the beginning. A few weeks later, I got my power bill. I was a little nervous about opening it up. After all, what if I'd messed up and spent all that time and money on something that didn't work? But I bet you can imagine the smile on my face when I tore open the bill and found out The very first month, I was able to slash my energy costs by a whopping 74%, and that was just the first month. Actually, it wasn't even a month. Since we were in the middle of a billing cycle, it was only about 3 weeks that I actually had my new home power plant up. I knew I'd see even better results the second month, but once I got my wind turbine set up and made some tweaks to the system, I didn't just save money on electricity. For the first time in my life, the power companies actually had to pay me for power. Was I going to get rich from my new power plant? Nope. But I got to tell you, that check for $23.87 made me prouder than just about anything else I'd ever made. I ended up using it to take my 2 little girls, Abby and Sarah, to a Build-A-Bear at the mall and let them create the teddy bear of their dreams. And sitting there watching my beautiful daughters play, I had this tickling in my brain that the simple methods I'd used to outsmart the power company and the big corporations that were trying to rip you off for solar and wind power could be used by a lot of people. That night, I started outlining my methods, all the simple steps I'd taken to create my home power plant and save me and my family thousands of dollars. A few days later, I had a rough document on my computer. I'd worked really hard to make sure it was easy to read and simple and not full of electro jargon. But if I was going to let the world see what I was up to, I needed some pretty definitive proof that anybody could use my system to build their own solar panels and wind power and cut their power bills literally overnight. So I called my idiot brother Tom. Now, I love my little brother Tom, but he's not exactly handy. He works behind a desk all day, pushing numbers around, and I don't think he's touched his screwdriver since high school shop class. But when I asked Tom if he wanted to cut his power bills, he leapt at the chance. And even though he's never done any wiring in his life, he was able to put together his solar panels in just one weekend and saw a 40% drop in his power bill right away, had all the backup power he needed the next time a storm hit, and is paying next to nothing for electricity now. And Tom was just the beginning. From there, I started sharing my home power secrets with friends of mine around town, and again the results were the same. Even folks who weren't technical or handy were able to grasp exactly what to do to build their own solar panels and wind power, even though a lot of them thought it would be too complicated before they got started, and to slash their electric bills to the bone. Eventually, my brother, my neighbors, and especially my beautiful wife ganged up on me and told me I had to share my system with the world, and that there were too many hard-working folks out there who could really benefit from what we were doing. So, after months of hard work, writing the manuals, shooting video, and testing everything to make sure anybody could use it, the Power for Home system was born. Trusted by over 26,000 families in America, Canada, and around the world. The Power for Home system is a complete step-by-step program designed to give you everything you need to slash your monthly electric bill by 50, 75, 125%, so the electric company actually pays you, or more. And it's been designed from the ground up to be easy to use. If you've passed 3rd grade and can use a screwdriver, you can build and install your own solar panels and wind power on your property. When you grab the Power for Home system, you'll learn secret electricity thieves, why your appliances are stealing money out of your wallet every moment they're off, and how to stop power leakage without ever having to unplug a single thing. The magic box device that instantly lowers your power bill by at least 10%, even if you never use solar or wind power in your home. I discovered this little beauty as an electrician, but the big power companies are going to court to have it banned. The renewable energy myth. What's really going on with coal, oil, and nuclear power, and why big energy corporations have been lying to you for years. But most of all, you'll learn how to create your very own home power plant that slashes the amount you pay for electricity literally overnight.